people want to argue. Like, people want to argue, people want to bicker, people want to debate, people don't want to actually have conversations and just like listen. Hello, lovely viewers. I don't even know if I'm gonna end up posting this video, but if I do, then that means you're seeing this video, and so I would really appreciate if you listen to what I have to say, because I'm gonna be reacting to a YouTuber by the name of Vera, and I've seen this video, it's kept popping up on my YouTube recommendations, and I love like thinking about and talking about pretty privilege, not on this channel yet, but either to my younger sisters or just like in general. I love talking about it, and this video is called Pretty Privilege is Real and TikTok proves it. So I wanted to see if I could react and add onto this video with my own perspective. If it's not good enough, then I won't post it, but if I feel like I can make some content of this, then that means you're seeing it. Let me react to this. Let's go ahead and react to this, and I can't wait to just talk about this.
Okay, so pretty privilege.
I just saw a video that said pretty privilege is so real because you can be as weird as you want, but if you're hot, you're still gonna get invited places, and you're not gonna be a weird girl, you're still gonna be hot.
I'm bored. Tell me what's farthest. Pretty privilege has... Wait, am I tripping? Does that not make sense? I'm bored. Tell me what's farthest. Oh, okay, I guess she's trying to say, tell me how far pretty privilege has taken you.
Pretty privilege is such a real thing. Why? Because pretty girls do not have to spend that much money on clothing or accessories. Why, you might ask? Because the face is the outfit. When you're pretty, no one's looking at your fucking outfit. Let's be so fucking for real. They're looking at your face. Because you're pretty.
Pretty privilege is so intriguing to me because as long as you're attractive, basically any of your bad traits can be seen as a
Oh,
good
I
thing.
remember her. I remember her for sure. I used to see that girl all the time. I didn't even have TikTok, and I would see that girl all the time. I don't know if she still makes content, but I used to see her all the time.
It's completely overlooked. You're just hot. Like, how did that happen?
It's everywhere in TikTok right now, and honestly, it's not just some random trend. It's a real social thing that affects tons of people every single day. We like to think today
And
that
this
it's all
video
about
is sped up,
personality,
so you
talent,
guys
or
know.
what you create, right? But nope, when it comes to social media, how you look still holds massive power. So today I want to dive into what pretty privilege actually means, how it plays out on TikTok, and why it's kind of harmful, not just for people who don't fit into these narrow beauty standards, but even for those who do. So what is pretty privilege anyway? It's basically all the advantages people get just because they're considered attractive by society standards, but, and it is really important, these standards are super narrow and honestly kind of exclusive, especially in
And actually, the reason why I ended up wanting to watch this video, even if I just end up watching it by myself and it just turns out to be a test recording or whatever, is because I saw those three sisters that are like super popular on TikTok. I forget their last name. I think it starts with a D, but they have that really curly hair of them. Wait, let me...
And it is really important. These standards are super...
These sisters... Oh, I thought it started with the D. No, it does not start with a D. Caligara's sisters. I think that's how you say their names. And I didn't know much about them, and I was like confused to why they were so popular. To me, they look kind of like creepy. Not like creepy, like demonic. I just thought they look very... You know how social media people have a face? Like, they look like they have a face. They didn't look like natural to me, but anyways.
Narrow and honestly kind of exclusive. Especially on TikTok, pretty usually means fitting this Western Eurocentric ideal, like being tall, thin, white, flawless skin, basically the picture perfect look you see everywhere. And the crazy thing, people who fit that mode get treated way better. They get more likes, more followers, better job opportunities, sometimes even freebies, all because of their appearance. Meanwhile,
and as you see, what she said, what she's showing is obviously mostly women, because pretty privilege is very pertinent to the female experience in society. And I'm also glad that she mentioned Western look, like a Western face. I'm glad she mentioned that element of beauty standards, because that's usually who can get away with a lot. A lot of people, even if they're like me, they're black or African, whatever, if they have more Western features, they're more likely to get ahead just by their looks than if they have more ethnic features. Hence, Glorilla's recent nose job that had a lot of people talking.
people who don't fit that mode might be ignored or even face outright discrimination. And it's unfair, but unfortunately that's real. You've probably seen Pretty Privilege blowing up on TikTok. It's actually got over 150 million views. That's insane. It's out there in the open.
I guess I think she's assuming, I'm assuming she means the hashtag, I think.
their real experiences. Like Madeline Ford, a Canadian model who talks about how her looks have literally gotten her free meals, beauty products, and VIP treatment at events. But it's not all glam. Some creators have posted side-by-side videos showing how their social experiences changed dramatically after a physical makeover. Suddenly they were getting kindness,
I think that was like just a whole filter.
attention, opportunities they've never had before. And it shows just how much your appearance can shape your whole social experience. And that's kind of wild, right? And now I want you to welcome the Calgary
These
sisters.
sisters, yeah.
They're basically a blueprint of what a lot of people now call TikTok pretty. So they're right on
See,
social
okay, I guess I'm not the only one. Like, do they not look unnatural to some people? And I've watched a few videos, not even a few, really, like, oh, well, I guess it is a few. I watched like 2 videos talking about these sisters, or like talking about TikTokers, and then these sisters were embedded into the video because they were talking about other people as well. And these girls' fans are very off. Okay, there's a lot of off fans pretty much, but for these girls to just be TikTokers, their fans are as off as like Nicki Minaj or K-pop fans or something. So apparently their fans are very possessive or something. But one thing I know about these girls I don't like is how their little sister is shown off. She's still technically a minor, and she dresses off in like very revealing clothes, which is okay for the more grown sisters, but their younger sister is still a minor, and I just don't mess with that. For them to be allowing their sister on the internet and on their videos showing herself off, like, you got to be very careful with that. There are creeps out there.
social media is a perfect example of how the algorithm and audience attention often favor conventionally attractive
love their
faces,
curls, though.
especially
I love
when
the
they're paired
curls.
with a Polish aesthetic and curated lifestyle. Each sister started making TikToks on their own, but when they teamed up, their popularity just exploded. Their videos are mostly synchronized dances, fashion showcases, beauty routines, and lifestyle vlogs. They've got this flawless skin, symmetrical faces, and trendy outfits that fit perfectly into the TikTok pretty mode, and TikTok's algorithm seems to love them for it, pushing their videos to millions of people.
Also, I just don't like this content. I don't know what it is, and this is coming from someone who's very confident within herself, and I love watching people be confident within themselves. But like the type of TikTok videos where people are just like, they're just like, ooh, like they're just like filming into their camera, pretty much like effing themselves, you know what I mean? Or they're like doing this type of content, and I'm pointing at my computer screen, by the way, and they're just like filming them dancing, and then they're just like smiling and staring into the camera, but they're like posing kind of like in a sexual way. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know how to respond. Like, if it's just somebody, let's say if it's like a cottage girl, okay, the difference is like the girl is like in grass, it's sunny, she's showing off like a pretty dress, her free flowing hair, but she's not in the camera like going like that to me, right, as the viewer. So like, I wouldn't mind that. I don't know, I get when people do this on TikTok, it makes me uncomfortable, because like it's almost like, ugh, why are you staring at me like that, and why are you doing that? Like, but like, I appreciate the confidence, but like, like, it creeps me out.
Their content, fashion hauls, dance trends, beauty routines isn't
Oh, I
super
need
new
one
or
of those
groundbreaking,
dresses.
but because they check TikTok pretty boxes, flawless skin, symmetrical features, styled hair, trendy outfits, they've been able to blow up really fast. And this is where pretty privilege really kicks in. It's not just about being good looking, it's about fitting into a very specific kind of beauty that TikTok loves to promote. And you often see comments on forums and Reddit threads wondering if their success is more about their appearance than the actual content.
Because it
People
probably
aren't necessarily
is.
hating, it's just a part of a bigger question. Would they be as popular if they didn't look the way they do? When young
Well, first of all, I don't even need to hear what she has to say. I'm sure she's going to say something, you know, profound enough, but I don't even have to hear what she has to say, because come on, we all know that their success would not be the same, because there's literally just like regular high school girls and guys just posting on their local TikTok page doing the same thing. You know, they are not as hip, they are not as hyped up. So
young people seeing these creators gaining huge followings because of how they look, it can suggest that changing your appearance is the key to success. On top of that, the Calgary sisters also come from a pretty privileged background. Their dad is a
heard.
businessman and their mom is literally a fashion designer, so they've had
Oh,
access to
fashion
professional styling,
designer.
expensive clothes, and it's so important because pretty privilege isn't just about looks. It's all about having the resources to maintain and package those looks in a way that appeals to the platform. Their
What is
coordinated
that? I'm
outfit-
sorry. Hold on, I have to talk about that. What?
resources to maintain and package those looks in a way that
Okay, usually when I see their outfits, like if I do see them, I'm like, oh, these are so cute. And like they usually always have like fitted clothes. Girl, what is this? That's all I have to say. I don't know what's going on. This is not a fashion video, but like if I want to give my opinion on fashion on my channel, then I'm going to do it. And what is this? It's like a plastic wrap over leopard with like a sheer look, and then like I don't know. It's not giving. Like, I don't like
appeals
that
to the
at
algorithm.
all.
Their coordinated outfits, glam vibes don't just happen by chance. They're part of a brand, one that's been shaped by both beauty and access. And they definitely have fans who adore them, especially for their fashion confidence and sister dynamic. But there's also some criticism. Some people feel like their videos lack substance and that they're only being rewarded because they look a certain way. And that right there is where the TikTok pretty privilege conversation really shows up. It's not about whether the sisters are talented or not. It's about how social media often puts appearance above originality, and how that makes it way harder for creators who don't fit the mold to get noticed. Leah Houghton—
And this is like my thing. I've like super big on authenticity. When I was in 3rd grade, and I'll probably make a video about this, when I was in 3rd grade, I found like this book. It might have been even earlier than 3rd grade. It was before I moved to a whole new school. I know that. I found this book about Frida Kahlo, and ever since I knew about Frida Kahlo and her story, I have been so obsessed with authenticity. Now, obviously I was a kid, so there were times where I obviously didn't represent that. But ever since I was young, I just loved authenticity. And so like this type of content would never appeal to me. Even when I was younger, I may have watched more like fabricated YouTube channels, but like just this type of TikTok content does not appeal to me at all, because why would I watch somebody just like dance on screen and look pretty? Yay, I'm happy you're pretty. I love it when women are confident, or when anybody's confident, but like why would I just sit there and like that video? You know, I don't waste my time. I don't waste my life doing that. Like, I just don't. It never appealed to me.
Is another big example. She perfectly shows how beauty standards drive social media success. She fits the classic Western beauty ideals: glowing skin, symmetrical features, full lips, and that soft glam makeup style.
Who can have the same face? I mean, a lot of people have this face. A lot of girls have this face, especially a lot of black girls. But like, for her to be white and we kind of have like the same face, you know what I mean? Like almond eyes, pouty lips, a nose right in the middle, but like doesn't go outside of the lips. I don't know how to describe it. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not saying I look like her.
Leah's videos are often super simple,
people say
just
that,
like posing or moving gently to trending music, but they go viral all the time. And that's because TikTok's algorithm loves faces like hers, even if the videos don't have much.
That's what I wanted to say. It's like like a bunny girl face. Kind of, you get it. If you get it, you get it.
Story or educational value.
But like, why would I sit there and watch that and like that? Do you get what I mean?
And I can't believe the video got 1 billion views for that. And that right there has sparked some debates
That's
about
crazy.
TikTok and its crazy bias. How it favors creators who are just pretty even when they're not making the most original or meaningful content. While other creators spend hours writing sketches, making tutorials, or telling stories, Leah's videos ride almost entirely on her looks and vibe. And Leah isn't just lucky, she benefits from this so-called pretty privilege. The algorithm literally rewards her because her face grabs attention fast. And it's not just about her effort or creativity, but this bigger system bias built into digital culture. And it's so wild to think how much of success on TikTok depends on these hidden biases.
There's such a big difference between TikTok pretty and normal pretty, and I'm really worried.
Also, she's so pretty. I always love ginger hair. It's so pretty. If I could be a black girl with ginger hair, I would. I don't want to be white though. No offense. Actually, all offense if you took offense. Let's hear her out. I'm trying to make sure that if this does turn into a video, you know, I'm adding onto it. I don't want to take this girl's video, and I will definitely link it down in the description.
Worried for the young girls growing up in this digital age and how that's gonna affect their self-esteem. Because I am a grown-ass woman and it still affects my self-esteem. So this is what I would call TikTok pretty. This is what I look like when I post TikTok videos, because this is what people like. This is like how videos get views when I look like this. And then this is what I actually look like. So this filter is just makeup. So if I wear makeup, this is what I look like. I don't look like the prior when I wear makeup.
Also, I hope if you were watching that, you could tell that was a filter. I didn't want to I was going to say I hope you guys are aware that she's wearing a filter, but I had a feeling that the whole point of this video was, well, it literally says it right there. I guess I didn't really read the caption, but she literally revealed that she was wearing a filter. So I appreciate her transparency.
Prior is just a filter to make me look TikTok pretty. And I'm pretty confident with how I look in real life. But I can't get myself to post a video like this because people on TikTok don't find this this isn't TikTok ready, so it's not gonna get views if I post a video looking like this.
And one big issue with the rise of super polished, conventionally attractive creators like the Caligari sisters or Leah Houghton is that
Are they Polish? Because I think I've heard that, and I was like, I remember seeing their faces. I'm like, what are they? Because at first I thought they were black and mixed, but I'm like, no, they look like little ducks. And I mean that in the least offensive way possible, because I'm a person I really see animals in people. That's why I said bunny girl face earlier. I feel like if I was an animal, I would get very bear, bunny, squirrel, something between those three animals. And then they give duck to me, so I'm like, they don't look black. And then I think I found out they're Greek or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, so I guess I was just asking if they're Polish. I don't know, and I don't really care enough to look it up because I don't know these people for real. Wait, what was I gonna say? Like, I have to go back in the video. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Because people on TikTok don't find this, like, this isn't TikTok ready, so it's not gonna get views if I post a video looking like this.
And
Oh, right. And I have like a video not fully planned out yet, but I really want to talk about this, and I want more people who are nervous to post content to just do it, because I think that's where that pressure is, especially for girls, especially for Black girls, but just for women in general. It's like you want to post content, but you know that your face is going to have some sort of, it's going to play a role in the outcome of your success, or it's going to play a role in how serious people take you, unfortunately, which is crazy because people's pineal gland is not, you know, it's not aligned there, you know. There's not enough people vibrating on a high frequency for them to be just watch people and just watch them out of love, no matter what they look like, no matter who they are, you know, and just like try to understand what they're bringing to the table. There's not enough people out there like that, girl. People want to watch people that look pretty. People want to watch people that they would, you know, do the deed with, which is weird. So I just hate that there is that pressure out there, because I mean, I guess like this sounds kind of crazy because I'm wearing makeup today, but I just wanted to play around with makeup because I wanted to. But I want to come on my channel most of the time not even wearing makeup, or if I am, it's going to be very, very natural.
one big issue with the rise of super Polish, conventionally attractive creators like the Caligari sisters or Leah Holton is that it creates a kind of bottleneck on TikTok's discovery system, because the algorithm tends to favor faces and aesthetics that fit this narrow beauty standard, and also pushes these creators to the top over and over again. But what does that really mean for everyone else? Like, imagine for a second yourself spending hours crafting clever skits, teaching cool skills, or sharing unique stories, but still getting lost in the sea of videos because the algorithm keeps pushing those flawless faces front and center. That's not just frustrating, it's actually quite discouraging, and it can make creators feel invisible and quite undervalued.
And that's like so real, but that also kind of lies into the creator's, I don't want to say fault, but that is going to change based on how you feel as a creator, because it depends why you're into this. Like, are you creating content for the money? Are you creating content for the clout? Are you creating content because you're really passionate about it? Are you creating content so people can hear your perspective? If it's a mix of those, if it's a mix of the first two, it really depends on what your intention is when you're posting videos. Like, for when I really start posting on my ASMR channel, part of it is so I can make money, because I want ASMR, I see ASMR as sort of an art, you know. People, you know, can really take that seriously. You can be really creative with it, so I would like to be paid for that. On this channel though, I don't really care. If I can make money from this channel, boom, that's perfect. I made this channel because I've always wanted a channel, and I've always wanted to share my thoughts and my opinions, and you know, that's my intention for posting these videos. I want people to hear my perspectives, and I also want to heal people through my word and through my videos, through my advice. I want to be able to heal people with my videos. So this channel is for me to be very healing, and just for people to collect another perspective and go about their life with that. But on TikTok, if you're going through it for the clout and that's your main intention, you can't be upset if it's not going to work for you, because you don't have your heart in it, okay? You have a survival instinct in it. Wanting to start content for the money and for the clout, you're starting off with it as a survival instinct, and so that can catapult you in certain ways, but is it going to last? That's the unfortunate, you know, downfall of a lot of content creators. Is it going to last? Because they start off their careers, you know, not being themselves, and that's a big problem.
I know that some people at this point might be asking, why this matters even? You know, it's not just unfair for individual creators, it also hurts TikTok as a platform. When the algorithm favors one kind of creator over the other, it reduces the variety of content we see. Social media should be the place where anyone can find an audience, no matter their background or appearance.
Oh,
okay, now let's talk about
gaslighting.
something that comes up every single time someone speaks about pretty privilege, the gaslighting response, and honestly, it drives me crazy. Gaslighting is basically when someone tries to make you question your own reality or experiences.
I decided I'm gonna start gaslighting you.
You're gonna start gaslighting me?
That's not what I said.
You literally just said
You're
you're
being
gonna...
dramatic.
But in the context of pretty privilege, it usually sounds like this. You're just jealous. It's not that deep. Everyone struggles. Just work harder. Maybe you're just bitter because you're not pretty. Like, what? Instead of acknowledging the real systemic bias people face for not fitting the beauty standards, the conversation just gets turned around to make you feel like you're the one who has the problem for ever noticing it in the first place. And this is where it gets really dangerous because it makes people feel like crazy or petty for pointing out obvious patterns. If someone shares how differently they were treated before and after the glow up, or how their content gets ignored because they don't look the part, the gaslight response is basically saying, that's not real, you're just insecure. It totally
which is crazy. I don't know why that's like the fan and like parasocial response a lot of people have towards these people sharing their real experiences and honestly facts. Like, how are you going to tell us that the pretty privilege is not real or they don't have their, you know, success from being pretty? Because as soon as, you know, even outside of pretty privilege, out of like pure culture, or, you know, I'm just gonna say pure culture, like just things like that, as soon as news comes out about somebody getting plastic surgery this and they weren't honest about it, or maybe this person preached about being a very pure innocent Christian girl and all of a sudden you hear that they had a cheating scandal or that they were a homewrecker, then things change. Do you like get what I'm saying? So it's like before the controversy occurs, the people that were, you know, speaking about their observations and like how they feel like, oh, this person doesn't seem sincere if it was like a pure situation, or this person has success because of their pretty privilege. You can't come at people for that, and then as soon as controversy comes around, you're like, oh my gosh, that's when you want to be aware. Like, that's crazy. I just don't get why fans and parasocial people react like that.
Derails the conversation and invalidates experiences that are backed up by actual trends, actual data, and thousands of similar stories. And here's the truth. The gaslight response doesn't happen because people don't understand what pretty privilege is. It happens because they're uncomfortable acknowledging it. It threatens this idea that social media is a meritocracy, or that we all have equal opportunities if we just try hard enough. But the truth is, some people can post 3-second videos blinking at the camera and go viral, while others are pouring hours into creative edits and barely get seen. But when you say, hey, maybe this has something to do with the way I look, and people immediately shut you down, it's not a fair debate. And it silences real conversations we actually need to have. When kindness is conditional. Okay,
but for sure, before she goes to that, I like how she said that silences conversations we're really supposed to have. That's my problem with like people in general, is that like our society, and I'm not even going to say our society because that is so broad. That's pretty much like all humans, really more Western societies. People want to argue, people want to bicker, people want to debate. People don't want to actually have conversations and just like listen, because the whole point, like the reason why conversations are so important is because you can hear the person out, understand them, and then maybe you can be like, well, I don't really agree with that, I agree with that, or this is where I stand, right? So it's just really just like an exchange of information, conversation, perspectives, emotions, feelings. It's just like a great cycle. With arguments or debates, you're throwing something out, the other person has to counter it. There's no meshing in there. It's just black, white. Okay, and so that's the problem with a lot of people, especially in like social media platform comments. Like, you want to bring something that goes against the main idea of, you know, the audience watching this, and then somebody comments under you. Most of the time they're not going to be open to, you know, having a conversation. They're going to be open to debate. They're going to be like, what's wrong with you? You're crazy. Why are you acting like that? Are you jealous? It's always, are you jealous? The blinks, if you don't know what a blink is, it's a Blackpink fan, the South Korean girl group. Girl, honey, mess. Just mess. Let me get back to the video.
So I want to pause for a second and show you what I actually mean when I say that kindness can be totally conditional. Like, this isn't just a theory that I came up with. It's actually real, and it shows up all the time on TikTok. I came across some videos where creators did transformations or glow-ups, and honestly, the difference in how people treat them before and after is kind of wild. So I'm gonna react to a few right now, and we'll break down what's actually happening.
Bear with me while I talk about how my life changed after glowing up. Here are the credentials. First, almost everyone treats you better. This includes like workers.
Also, I want to like, with this creator, Maymay Pugh, I don't know how to say her last name. I always found the name Maymay so cute. Let me play this back real quick.
After glowing up, here are the
notice how her skin tone in the before of the glow up comparison is darker and more tan. That's like a big problem that I don't understand. One, for some reason, with people of color, if you are paler, you are seen as more beautiful. And then sometimes within the white community, Western white community, if you are more tan, you are seen as more attractive. You know, like this colorism is just very off, and it's like just always apparent, and it's so disgusting to me. So I hate that her appearing more pale is a part of her glow up. Not necessarily to her, because I don't know what her beliefs and thoughts are on colorism. Just like looking at this, the fact that her glow up has to include being more pale is not right, is what I'm saying.
Credentials. First, almost everyone treats you better. This includes like workers, professionals, friends, basically everyone. People seem to be like more interested in what you say too, in contrast to before where you're kind of just more invisible. Second is that when you're attractive, it's more acceptable to be weird. So like if you're attractive and weird, you kind of just seem more as quirky, but if you're like,
which is very true, because one, some people are so like, there are people in the 3D that, you know, are more awake than others. But like, if you are only thinking of with the 3D, some people are just so not necessarily closed-minded, but their reality is not expanded very far. And so some people still think that weird, just by itself, weird, not even putting a label to what is weird or who is weird, just the word weird is still seen as a negative. And so if you're attractive, you being weird kind of counteracts that. But if you were ugly, that's like two negatives to some people. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's just crazy that this is the thing.
less attractive and you're weird, you're just seen as more strange.
And this is the perfect example of how society, and especially social media, gives more kindness, more attention, and even basic respect if you meet certain beauty standards.
I hate to break it to y'all, but whether you are pretty or ugly in this world, it decides how you are treated. I've spoken about this before and I'm gonna do it again because it's like some people don't understand that being considered ugly or like fat and so on really, really, really decides whether or not you're treated good.
So I love her crew neck. I'm wearing it right now. Don't look too much, because girl, I don't know if it's showing. I'm not wearing a bra and I don't like wearing one, so mind your business. But I love pink and brown. I even have pink and brown on my lips. Like, it is literally the most like underrated color combo there is out there. And pink and brown plus like a very natural green, like a light natural green, beautiful.
In a lot of situations. Why is the world built like this? I couldn't freaking tell you who decided that how you look depends on who gets treated like asshole and who doesn't, and who decided who looks bad enough to get treated like asshole and who doesn't. But
let's just say, okay, it's a lot of people that have decided that, but let's just say like currently a lot of the people who are kind of controlling that, whether subconsciously or consciously, are white people in higher class, or men. I'll just say those three. There really are a lot of people. I feel like those are the main three groups.
what I can tell you is pretty privilege definitely exists.
And this is actually so real. You can feel this frustration in the voice. People treat you like you're invisible. And it makes you wonder, where are they even seeing you as a real person in the first place? And it's not just compliments. It's like job offers, networking, or even just people being nicer. And this is the part that messes with your head. Like, is kindness really about character? Or is it just about looking the part? So yeah,
which is a good question. I think our video is about to end, but like that is such a good question. Like, it's just kindness actually, like I never really thought of it worded that way. Like I knew, but I never thought of it worded this way, that kindness can be confidential. Kindness can be conditional, because it really can be. The past few years, as I grow up and I go farther into my spiritual journey, I'm always trying to figure out ways to, act out of a source of unconditional love, and that can be difficult sometimes, but I feel like I'm pretty good at it. Like I feel like I'm pretty natural at loving people unconditionally. I even said to one of my sisters recently that I feel like no one hates and loves people as much as I do. I have a lot of love to give, and I love people, but I do complain about them a lot. And so my negative thoughts kind of come out more than what I think, positively. But I do really love people. But I never thought about it in a situation with, kindness, because oftentimes kindness is pretty conditional. I want to expand on that, but I can't really think of a way to expand on that in this moment.
These videos are funny, frustrating, and honestly a little bit depressing. They show that pretty privilege isn't just about getting free stuff. It's about how people decide who deserves kindness, respect, and even basic human decency. And if that's something we're teaching ourselves and younger users through content like this, that your value goes up only when you look a certain way, that's a big problem. I don't think people were evil for doing this. I think they were just gotten so used to it and we just forget to question it.
I also appreciate that she said, I don't think people are evil for doing this. This is something that I've like really had to internalize a lot recently in my spiritual journey, is like kind of giving grace to everyone. I kind of think of people less of evil. I used to, like, when I was younger, I used to be like, I hate Donald Trump, I hate Hitler and all these things. And then as I thought about it, I'm like, well, one, why am I wasting my energy hating on somebody that's not even alive yet? For example, Hitler. Now, obviously, I don't love Hitler. No. So don't even take that out of context. I don't know if I would have to censor his name. I'm not going to, but you know, maybe in the future I might have to. I don't know. But I've kind of came to this conclusion as I understand to look at things, you know, because things are super nuanced, things are super gray, is that a lot of these evil people are very lost, hurt, and like blind souls, okay? I don't think everyone has an equal advantage because not everybody knows their true self as quickly as others. And what I mean by that is maybe something that you can think about. I'm not going to say that in this video because it doesn't have anything really to do with this. But yeah, you can go ahead and think about that. Take that what you will. Is that the quote? Yeah. Whatever. But you know, as I think about that, it's like when we look at these people who take advantage of these sort of social terms and realities, pretty privilege, you know, people who have straight hair over curly hair, people who have a whiter skin over darker skin, when people take advantage of those things, we can blame them and we can judge them, definitely, but we don't want to necessarily label them as evil because there's some sort of reason and background reason, and there's beliefs and thoughts that they have been fed into their lives that have led them to be this way. So yeah, they're grown adults though, so that does not mean they cannot be held accountable. I just mean that I appreciate her for saying that, because we need to do less of like, oh, this person's evil, this person's bad, and we need to start giving grace to people, but in a critical way still. I hope you understand that.
And this is where everything gets really complicated because young people are watching all of this. And we're talking about 12, 13, 14-year-olds who are forming their identities while scrolling through hundreds of faces that look perfect. It's not just adults romanticizing beauty, it's kids learning that being attractive equals being successful, loved, and valuable. And
which is sad because even my younger cousin, she's like my closest cousin, she's always been kind of like a little sister to me. She doesn't do so anymore, but maybe she does because I don't live with her. She's farther away. I'm not going to say where she lives, but she's farther away than I am. But there was a time where if you were on social media at the time, you know, there was like this big thing of like little girls, like preteen girls and even younger, like messing up these Sephoras. They were all up in Sephora, they were all up in Ulta, they were doing their own skincare videos, basically copying what they see older women do. But it's just like, it's not healthy for a little girl to think that, and even like to say that I noticed that so close to home, seeing a young preteen girl, my younger cousin, be soaked up into that TikTok world of having to feel beautiful, having to buy expensive skincare, having to buy makeup at that young of an age. It's just like really toxic, and it's honestly sick a little bit that some women who literally, you know, capitalize on that. I get wanting to be successful, but if you're aware that little girls watch your content, no, it is not your fault, because parents should be, you know, more mindful of what, you know, their kids are watching. But at the same time, I think you should be a spokesperson. You can be like, you can be pretty, you can show all this type of stuff, you can show your expensive skincare, of course you can, okay? You are an adult. It's not necessarily harming anyone, but I also think that you should be a spokesperson and say, hey, my audience, or you can say it in, you know, a way less formal way. You can be like, you know, you do not have to do this. You know, remind people that you don't have to do this. Like, we are humans. I think some people forget that we're supposed to be working like this, okay? Too often humans work like this. So your audience is literally you, and they are supplying you with love, care, clout, likes, affection, you know, your success. They are literally supplying you your success. So you should speak back to them and say, do not feel pressured to be like this. You know, I am someone you watch, but do not idolize me. Do not do this and that. You do not have to buy this product or this product to look like me, to be beautiful. You know, I think that should be normalized. And I think that is what, you know, a lot of women or everybody on social media should be doing, but they don't. So,
and that kind of message really messes up with your head. What happens is that your self-worth gets tied to your appearance. That cycle gets repeated. You get obsessed with filters, over-edit your photos, you want some cosmetic surgeries because you want to look young, you develop body image issues, or even eating disorders. And just to close this up, I want to answer the question, why should you care even if you don't fit the pretty mold? Because pretty privilege keeps pushing the snare on realistic ideas of what's valuable and successful. When TikTok and other platforms reward just one type of look, it makes millions of people feel like they have to change themselves, sometimes in unhealthy ways, to fit in. Pretty privilege sets up this weird system where worth is too often judged by looks instead of what people actually bring to the table.
Alright, so she's just wrapping up the video. I don't want to put her whole video out there. And shout out to this creator. If I do end up posting this, I like her accent. I always love an accent. I just love listening to an accent. You know, I hate when people in comments are like, English isn't my first language. Sorry. Like, no. Why are you sorry because you don't know my language? There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, she's wrapping up the video. I appreciate her if I do post this. I'm glad that I got to react to this, and this is just something that I love talking about. Just to conclude it though, I'm glad she asked that question. Like, she keeps mentioning like, why does this matter? Because I hate when, since something is not just like bold face in somebody else's reality, that they think it's not real. Now, my perspective on reality is a lot more different than other people's, but just because something is not real, I'm not gonna say that, just because something is not manifested into your reality does not mean it is not real for somebody else. So my car can be red, right? I see it as red. My photoreceptors and my eyes view it as red. Actually, I don't think it's the photoreceptors. I think it's like the cones or rods, or whichever one. The cones or rods in my eyes, you know, perceive my car as red. But someone who's colorblind, they might perceive my car as green. But their reality is fabricated in a different way than mine's is. We're, you know, riding on the same consciousness. We're in the same timeline. We're in the same world. However you want to, you know, vocalize it. But how we view things is going to be differently. So just because my car is red to them, to me, does not mean it's going to be red to them. And so we as humans have to like recognize that even if we've never heard of something or we believe something isn't real, we need to have open minds to have conversations with other people, to hear them out and, you know, hear about these experiences that we don't experience. There's a reason why there's so many of us outside of just, you know, natural birth, you know, and death and whatever. I think that's something people need to improve upon, especially since so many people view things just one-minded, black and white, which is like my biggest problem with things since I was little. I get it, some of these people are like young and stupid, you know, commenting these things, but there are adults that'll be like, well, why does it matter that pretty privilege exists? Why does it matter that somebody's taking advantage of pretty privilege? Now, there's so many reasons, but it's just the fact that pretty privilege literally takes advantage of women and their, I don't want to say dignity, but it takes advantage of women and their emotional ties to their beauty and to their bodies. And it's also just like male-centered. Yes, women can capitalize on it, but we are literally capitalizing on how men view women. And so I guess that would be like, you know, male gaze. And then we're also capitalizing on female insecurities, you know, insecurities that women experience, and that is just not okay with me. So I'm just gonna end it off on that note. And I also want to hear what anyone else has to say. If somebody feels obligated to, you know, share their thoughts. If you think pretty privilege isn't real, girl, what are you doing? I just don't understand that. But I want to say thank you for my lovely viewers for watching this video. And I hope you have a good night, day, morning, meditation, school day, whatever it is. That is all from me. Bye.